Did you experience abuse as a child? Did you get abused as a child? Do you remember getting abused as a child? Did you experience any type of abuse as a child? I'm making this video because as an adult now, I realize I was abused as a child. I was abused as a child. Now there is so many different ways that you can be abused as a child. Now that I'm a parent, I look back and see I was abused. And you probably was abused too. I'm almost willing to say 98% of us as children have experienced some type of abuse. Now my abuse wasn't physical, like somebody wasn't touching me, doing the sexual abuse. That wasn't my abuse. I did experience sexual abuse, but not like being touched. We'll get to that. My abuse was being exposed to things that I had no business being exposed to as a child. My family grew up drinking and smoking. We grew up drinking and smoking. They giving us shit to drink when we're kids. I remember, I'm like maybe 5, 6, 7. They giving me beer to drink. Now, I'm not snitching on the family. I'm telling you what it is. I'm starting to think this is why my life ain't as successful as it should be, and maybe yours too, because we experienced abuse and we ain't even realize it until we like, damn, why my life ain't where it should be. Now, I'm not making that as an excuse and saying, somebody did this to me. Because this is what happens with abuse. When you don't know it's abuse, you may think it's even fun and cool, right? You might think, yo, I'm doing grown folk shit. I could do this. I could go to school and tell people, yeah, I know about weed. I know about drinking. I know about smoking. Cause that's what happened. By the time I got to high school, other kids is telling me, oh, what you know about weed? What I been knew about weed. I've been knew about weed before I even was in middle school. I'm knowing about weed when I'm in daycare. What you talking about? We been knew about this. Ain't nothing. So in my mind, it's not abuse at the time. I'm being around with grown folks. Now, this was my sexual abuse. Might have been yours too. Being exposed to porn. Yo, I'm watching porn when I'm like 5. Not even really, I ain't really pumped on it. But by the time I was 9, I had my first sexual experience at 9. Now I look back like, yo, you know how poisonous that is to your adulthood? When you're exposed to porn as a child? Yo, do you understand how dangerous? You know how far you ain't gonna get because of that? Because you having kids early? You're having kids early. You still don't even know what you're doing with your life. Now you got kids. And why? Because you're exposed to sexual stuff when you were a child. I believe this is one of the major reasons why society is how it is. Because, we only look at certain abuse as a problem. Wonder why mental illness running rampant, because we only looking at certain things as abuse. Yo, being exposed to stuff is more detrimental than actually, to me, than getting physical harm, because at least if physical harm, now you got something to work with. Yo, okay, they touched you, Now, you know, we can send you to therapy. You know, you've been beaten. Now we could send you to therapy. We can get you some help. But subtle abuse, to me, is more dangerous because it's more widespread, and you don't think it. You don't know what's wrong with your life until years later. Yo, I grew up with porn. You know what I mean? So when you grow up with porn, by the time I started looking at girls like, oh, I'm interested in girls, I'm already thinking that's what you're supposed to do with a girl. You know, you're supposed to do all that nasty everything with a girl. You know? I in my mind, I got in trouble with porn. I'm driving a truck, watching porn. I used to drive trucks. I'm watching porn, driving a truck. Now, I'm not snitching on myself. Maybe I'm just setting the record straight. Charleston White taught me that. I'm driving, watching porn. I look up. Traffic is stopped. I get into an accident. Ain't nobody get hurt. Ain't nobody get hurt. So I figure, let me just finish watching the porn. What I'm saying is, addictions to things as a child. I thank God I never actually got addicted to any of the drugs or alcohol that I've experienced as a child. Because I got family members, plenty of family members, who can't shake it, who can't not get high, who can't not have a drink. Pretty much, I'm going to say 75% of my family can't not get high. And their children suffers today from it. That's my abuse. That's my child abuse. And probably my parents had the same type of abuse, maybe worse. I recently found out when my mother was young, she got raped, but I don't know what was the outcome of that. Nobody never told me, and she never really told me. I found out after she passed that she got raped. And that's the only thing I heard about it, that she got raped. Nobody told me no details on it. So who knows what happened to mother when she was young? I know my dad, he got abused by his dad by just being physically beat. Abuse, yo. Abuse begots abuse. And you can't teach nobody what you don't know. You can't teach nobody what you don't know. The reason I'm making this video is because I believe it can help somebody out there notice what is abuse, what is child abuse. And then, you know what? It ain't even got to be child abuse, just abuse, period. Anything that doesn't help you, but you're doing it, to me, I feel like that's abuse. I feel like even watching a football game, right? Watching a football game when you should be doing something more productive is kind of abuse, because it's like, see, as time passes and you haven't gotten any better, right? Even though, let's say you didn't get worse, but you haven't gotten any better. Eventually, you're going to get worse because you have not gotten any nutrients into you, any positive to bring you up. That's why I make this video, because I know this information can help somebody. It can help somebody. When you're wasting your time doing something that's not helping you, either financially, getting you into a better financial position, and giving you some more understanding about life, giving you something that you can use. Anything else to me is abuse. I don't care what you say. Watch football game every day for 30 years. Watch football every day for 30 years and you're not playing, that is abuse. You know why? Because it ain't going to help you do jack shit. Any sport that you watch that you ain't doing, any entertainment that you watch that you not participating in is abuse. Because you wasting your time. You could watch a preacher preach for 30 years, but if you can't preach, you have been abused. And it's self-abuse at that point, but you don't even know it's self-abuse. A lot of times it's all self-abuse. You ever when you were younger, right? Let's say when you were 16, 15, you thought it was cool to be drinking, right? You hanging out with your friends, y'all got alcohol. It happened to me. I thought it was cool to be drinking when you 16. That's self-abuse. Cause you don't know what you're doing to yourself. You don't even know that's self-abuse. I hope this video helped somebody. I hope it did.